AEW Dynamite. War Games Edition. Or their version. Their version, blood, 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 more blood, even more blood, the bloodiest, and guts. Minus the guts. Oh my God, man. How low can AEW go? I can't wait to see all the glazing and all of the sunshine and rainbow narratives about how great Dynamite was tonight, man. Oh, man. You know, the funny thing is, I would have enjoyed the show if we didn't see it for the last fucking 11 months. Was it better than a regular edition of Dynamite? Sure, you can't get any lower. But they virtually offered nothing new or exciting. But they did give you setting someone on fire, though. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the venue. Beer Garden is, I wish it was open for business, being that it's fucking cold. So we got to settle for my mother's basement. And when I get there on this Wednesday night, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your AEW Dynamite post show for November 12th, 2025. I am your host, JD from New York, as always, coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Thank you so very much for joining us on this Wednesday evening, wherever you may be. As always, joined by the one and only, the Chi-Town Smart Jesse himself. What is going on, bro?
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys.
How are you?
Bro, did you see, speaking of hi, guys, did you see Chris Jericho said that at Bound for Glory, TNA looked like the second biggest promotion in pro wrestling? Did you see that?
I did not see that, man.
He said that today on his podcast, bro. What that means, coded, what that means is I'll see y'all in the Royal Rumble in Saudi. What that means.
That's what it sounds like to me, man. It sounds like a direct shot to me.
I love it, man. We're going to be saying hi, guys, a lot more often, man. He's going to be on TV over there.
How can you not take that personal? If he Tony Khan,
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what happened there. I'd love to be a fly on that wall. How you doing, man?
Good, man. There was a point in this show, and not indicative of my overall thoughts of the show, but there was a point in this show. I'll give you a hint. It was when Ricky the Dragon Steamboat came out.
Oh, you mean to tell me that you went to go take a shit too, and you didn't miss anything when you got back?
I did not go take a shit. I left my stream to go get some straight bourbon. All right. It's right here.
There you go, Jim Beam,
and started drinking straight bourbon as we finished that like half-hour snooze fest of a segment. I'm embarrassed for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Bro, I'm embarrassed for everybody I had to sit through that shit, man. FTR segments have become some of the worst television in pro wrestling. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
God, man. I was like, hey, look, it's Ricky the Dragon, that's cool. That's cool, hey, that's nice. Let's see what the dragon got to say, hype up some blood and guts. Okay, let's hear it. Started talking. I'm like, okay, I don't know where this is going, but I'm sure it's going to pick up. It's the dragon. And then FTR came out, and I was like, oh, fuck. Well,
FTR loves to make themselves feel important. Dax loves to make himself feel important, that he needed to go in on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who has nothing to do with the tag team championship match that they're competing in 2 weeks. He's got to make sure that he fits in with the legends, and then we get maybe 5% of a build, and then Brodito comes out, and the segment goes off the air. So I don't know how any of that got you more excited for FTR versus Brodito at Full Gear, but these guys here, I didn't really give a single iota of a fuck about what happened in that segment. We'll talk about that a little bit later. That was the least of the important things that happened tonight.
Very true. Very true. How did you enjoy the evening, my friend?
Well, you and I were discussing some of it in the sound check. I want to make sure I choose the way I approach this a little carefully, because anything I say, you know better than anybody, bro. They're watching. The sickos are watching. They're ready with their mobile devices to clip and send the fucking army after us.
They're in the locker room right now. They're getting their gear together. They're getting dressed. Get their phones out. You know, some of them are probably in the car already. Heading to the next town, watching. Hi guys.
Yeah. Hi. I want to make sure I choose my words and my approach carefully here. Was this a better episode of Dynamite than we normally get? Yes.
Than the average show.
Yes, it felt like a pay-per-view on TBS. Okay, so that's one positive. They're very fair to say. Yes. Their version of War Games, entitled Blood and Guts. We've been through this now 5 years. I don't think they did it the first year, did they?
I don't think so.
All right, so it's been about 5 years since they've incorporated this concept.
You got to look up when Vince McMahon tried to kill the sponsors by calling it Blood and Guts.
Yes. Yeah, with the whole pizza cutter thing and Nick Gage and all this other nonsense. It was a better episode than the normal Dynamite. It felt like a pay-per-view on TBS. They will, at the end of this month, because we have another 2 of these to sit through at Survivor Series, which I'm not looking forward to, by the way. I feel like AEW does the concept. I feel like it does the War Games match justice. It gives you exactly what is advertised. It's a war. It's bloody. It's chaos. It's all over the place, and it's unhinged. So I know their fan base likes that. Tony Khan and AEW will absolutely present War Games the way that it should be presented. Much better than Sesame Street Levesque over there, because he's been he's been so fucking safe. He should live next to Oscar the Grouch on Sesame Street. That's basically what he's done all year. He hasn't taken any risks. He hasn't taken any chances creatively. There's nothing adventurous about the product or the creative. It's just very one-tracked, one-dimensional. There's no deviation. There's nothing. There's really nothing happening over there. And by the end of this month, AEW will own the War Games concept much better than WWE has delivered it in the last couple of years. So that's my positive as far as that. So, if you want to clip that, show everybody how fair we really are, okay? Now, what I really want to kind of focus on before I give Jesse the floor here in regards to Blood and Guts tonight, did I enjoy this more so than a lot of other people? No, I did not. And the reason is very simple. This is not very difficult to understand. This is not some fucking out-of-the-blue concept. I think most of you who listen to me, I think Jesse, who knows me better than a lot of people, knows what I'm going to say here. The fact that we see everything that we got in these two matches, the women and the men's, the fact that we got everything that we got tonight over 2.5 hours, we get everything we got tonight every single week, every single month. Plunder, blood, chaos, weapons, thumbtacks, chairs, kendo sticks, chains, broken glass, people drowning, people being set on fire, etc., etc. We get it every single week. We get it every single month. We don't get this level every single week because it doesn't really need it. But when they are tasked with doing something like this, every pay-per-view, we get something like this. If they toned everything down every single week, every single month, and I walk into tonight and I embrace this match for what it was, I would have had a better time. I would have been a little bit more excited. I would have been a little bit more open to the fucking chaos that we were about to embark on. But the simple fact of the matter is, chat, we get it every single week, every single month, and we've gotten it at levels in which we got it tonight. Tonight it was just contained between fucking 12 bodies in the women match and 10 bodies in the men's match. If we tone that shit down over the course of the entire year, it would feel a little bit more unique. It would feel a little bit more special. It would be a little bit more inviting. It would be a little bit more exciting. And I don't really understand how people can't understand when someone thinks that way and when someone feels that way. Were they bad matches? No. You got what was advertised, and I appreciate that. Half the time we get something advertised and it doesn't live up to the fucking advertisement or the hype. At least we got what we were expecting. But man, the specialness, the uniqueness, everything just falls flat to me because I am so fucking numb to all this blood, the carnage, the chaos. I just don't care for it anymore, man. I watch it and I don't care. And I mentioned to you in the open before we went live, this is exactly what I feel like when I go see a band that I enjoy and they just play the same fucking set every single time. Every single time. And it's like, I heard this song every single fucking year I came to see these guys. They're going to play something new. They got a new album out. I want to hear some of the new bangers. But then you come to the realization that it's not going to change. And at one point in that next cycle, you're going to say, you know what? I'm not buying tickets to go see them because they don't offer anything new. That's exactly what AEW is, bro. It's like going to watch your favorite band and they play the same fucking songs, the hits, the songs that people want to hear and that the fan base knows, and they don't venture and do anything different. And at some point, you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to skip out this year. I'm not going to see them. And that's exactly what happened with AEW, bro. Last time they were in this building, they fit 17,000 people for Sting's retirement. They barely did 5,000. The last time they were here for Collision, they did 5,500. They fit less than 5,000 in this building, bro. I don't know what they need to do, but what they're doing is not working. And what they're doing is not inviting fans to watch the product with open eyes, man. They just keep doing the same thing that they want to do over and over again, and even more so with something like this, and it just doesn't come off as appealing to me anymore. If you understand where I'm coming from. Was it bad? No. Was it a better episode than the previous weeks and months of Dynamite where we sat here and just fucking felt absolutely lost and just depressed? Yes, it was better than those shows, but given the circumstances, it had to be.
Yeah, so the stuff that we got tonight, I think seeing it every week is a stretch. Seeing it every pay-per-view, absolutely. At the very least, every pay-per-view. We will get it on TV, a few weeks in between. We don't see what we got tonight every goddamn Dynamite. Let's be real about it. We don't see it every week.
No, not at this level, no.
No, not at this level. We will see some, chances are, if it's a pay-per-view, chances are we will see, a lot of this stuff at a pay-per-view. So that gives us at least once a month, and it will sprinkle sometimes into a Dynamite here and there. So, but the point here is, the point you're making is, how can it be special if, what are we in November?
Yeah.
If they do this every pay-per-view and sprinkled out through, some Dynamites here and there in November, that means we've already seen this probably upwards of about 15 to 16 times in 2025 alone.
Agreed.
Right. So how can it be special here tonight? And that part, you're 100% right. If we take what we got tonight in a vacuum, if we take it and isolate it and put it in the category where it's supposed to be, blood and guts, and we measure it, for that alone, I think it was a damn entertaining show. Now, that's not to say there were not imperfections there. There were some issues. There was a lot of issues. Number one is the lack of story. That's the first and foremost.
Yes.
A better build and a better story getting us into this match would have made the match itself feel more genuine and feel more important, but it just feels like come next week, they're all just going to go back to doing headlocks, what I'm saying, with no importance to anything that they were doing, here. Now, I felt like the talent brought the energy, especially the women. I want to put the women over here because we see the guys do this for the most part all the time, but I want to put the women over who went out there and basically made a statement, the same kind of statement that Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker made when they did their lights out match, that we are not just out here for tits and ass and to look pretty and to do some wrestling spots here and there. When the situation calls for it, we will get down and dirty and beat the shit out of each other, just like, professional fucking wrestlers do. And shout out to the ones that went out there and did that tonight. We already know Willow was capable of that. Willow was a bad mofo. We saw a new side of Sky Blue, who may have bladed a little bit too deep tonight. But the point is, she was willing to go out there and get dirty with her coworkers and put on a show. And I do think that they did go out there and accomplish what they meant to do, and that is go out there and put on the first women's blood and guts match and make it feel like a blood and guts match. They went out there and did some pretty fucking big spots. So shout out to them. I also personally enjoyed the women's match better than the men's match. I think the first half of the men's match was a little slow. It did kind of pick up for me on the second half of it, around the time that Mark and Yuta got on top of the cage. I would have liked to see a little bit of more of a payoff from that. Not saying that I want to see someone go catapulted off the top of the goddamn cage, but we've been trained to feel like, when you go to the top rope, someone's supposed to come off the top rope. When you go to the top of the cage, someone's supposed to come off of the top of the cage. So my personal belief, if you're not gonna go off of that cage, stay off of the fucking cage. Okay?
Yeah, that was another criticism I'll get into. I don't want to cut you off, but yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah. Don't go up there. You don't have to go up there. It's not saying if you don't go up there, we're gonna shit on the match. You don't have to go up there, but if you go up there, have some kind of payoff plan, something. I don't know what, but have some kind of payoff plan for it. But I think that's a part of the reason why I enjoyed the women's match a little bit better. I think they went out there and just did what you don't normally see the women do. And for that alone, I can show some respect to that. I enjoyed the women's match a little bit better than the men's.
Yeah, I agree with you. I enjoyed the women's match better than the men's. Just based off the simple fact of I don't give a fuck about anything Death Riders related. And you're in there with the conglomeration who basically were paired up with Darby Allin just so that we could get this match. And all of that really just came about in the last couple of weeks. And it doesn't really warrant a War Game situation. Darby and Moxley certainly does, but the other guys do not. So I agree. I enjoyed the women's match much more than the men's match. The criticism that I have in regards to these matches, honestly, for the most part, stems from the lack of story going in. And this is just not an AEW thing. This is very much a WWE thing as well. I complained about this shit on Monday when we got the women's War Games 4-on-4 for now. Who knows what they're going to add come Monday when they're in Madison Square Garden. But right now we got Charlotte and Alexa Bliss on one side and Nia Jax with the newly debuting Lash Legend on the other side. What the fuck do they have to do with War Games? This really just came about in 2 weeks. There's no story, which in turn doesn't warrant them being in a War Games match. I mean, that's just absolutely ludicrous. You can do anything but a War Games, which is fine. But throwing them inside a steel cage to settle their differences, what differences do they have? They have no differences. What differences do the conglomeration have with the Death Riders? They have no differences. It's Jon Moxley and Darby Allin and then his supporting cast of characters who are just there because they're along for the ride. So I don't. That's really what bothers me most. Both Triple H and Tony Khan piece these matches together just for the sake of piecing these matches together because he's got to get TV. And Triple H has got to get a pay-per-view, which is advertised fucking 8 months in advance with the War Games logo. So it's like, can you make it special? Can you give me some sort of fucking story going into this match where I maybe give a shit? So the women, just based on the fact that it was the first time, and you made a correlation to Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, shout out to both of them. Yeah, they went out there and they tried to make it their own, just like Britt and Thunder Rosa did. But there are some criticisms that come along with that. Sky Blue bled for the first... in the first 6 minutes, and she was bleeding. She wasn't just bleeding. She was bleeding profusely.
Crimson mask.
She was legitimately crimson mask, full face red, bleeding within the first 6 minutes. That should not happen in a match like this. Where is in moderation? AEW, Tony Khan doesn't know what in moderation means. Like, you don't need for the first two competitors out of 12 to start bleeding within the first 5 minutes, 6 minutes of the match. There's something called a build-up. You went from 0 to 100 within the first 6 minutes, and you gave people the premise of the match before the fucking match officially began. Why? Why did this woman need to bleed? Why did she need to go out there and immediately show you, I'm going to bleed? There's other ways to make a statement and then have that simply be the cherry on top. That doesn't need to be the statement. The statement should be how the match is pieced together, how the match is produced, how everybody is cohesively working together in there to make the match great. The cage is the weapon. The cage is the spotlight. You're using the cage as an asset to tell your story. And they didn't do that. They went right to fucking let's bleed. And then everybody comes out with their fucking choice of weaponry, which is just absolutely cringe. The cage is the weapon. I don't need to see someone come out with a trash can lid, a kendo stick, a bag of thumbtacks. Fucking Mercedes came out with all her belts. They were already out there presented to her as weapons. I mean, a chain, light tubes. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. The cage is the weapon. So at that point, I'm looking at this, Jesse, and I'm thinking, I want these women to succeed because they got a talented fucking division. But man, when you do shit like that and you got Sky Blue bleeding in the first 5-6 minutes, you're trying to make a statement way too hard when the statement itself is easy to make because you're in this environment and it's going to be made by itself. People don't understand that. The fans are not going to understand that. The fans who can't accept criticism aren't going to understand that. They tried too hard to make sure they They gave you the best match possible. They should have just let it happen organically, bro. I wanted to see the stories play out. If they brought stories into this and they let the story play out, there would be no need for an overabundance of weapons. You could add the weapons as an accent at the end of the match to really kind of push it over the ledge. You know what I mean? It's just, these are the little criticisms as a fan watching this shit on a year-to-year basis that you just get beat over the head with, bro. And it's like, why do they constantly make the same mistakes over and over again? Like, in moderation, slow it down. Give me a story and then take it to the next level. They went and took it to the next level, and then where do they go after that? They can't go anywhere because they already gave you everything.
Yeah, this is a testament to the producers as well. I think it's important that we know who produced these matches, if they had full carte blanche to do whatever they wanted to do in the match, because this is exactly a producer issue. I mean, who you sent out, when you sent them out, what you sent them out there with, and what was their spot to use it in. Like, someone went out there with the thumbtacks. Was it Tekla? No, was it Harley Cameron? I'm not sure.
Jamie Hayter brought the thumbtacks.
Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
She came out with thumbtacks. Okay. Fine. Thumbtacks, War Games match. Sure. Blood and Guts match. Sure. Bring out the thumbtacks. She came out with a bag of thumbtacks. She hit somebody in the stomach with the bag itself. The bag busted open. Thumbtacks went everywhere. And then they were basically forgotten about for the rest of the match.
Yeah.
So you didn't get the impact of, shit, here come the thumbtacks, because they just went out there and poof, splattered everywhere. All you got was people having to walk on and do bumps on thumbtacks without getting the impact of anyone getting a chance to appreciate that it was a thumbtack spot, because she hit it with the thumbtacks and they shattered everywhere and splattered all over the damn place. So that was a lost spot right there. I mean, just things like that. Everything should have been paced into levels, just like you said. And it would have felt better. But again, that's on the production. I don't know who produced these matches. I don't know if they were forced to do what they had to do because of higher ups or whatnot. I don't know. But the production of these matches was definitely an issue here, because it could have been done so much better.
Yeah, another thing that I didn't like was, and this was done in both the men's and women's matches, and I don't remember seeing this over-reliance of being outside the cage. Like, I understand the match doesn't officially begin until every competitor is in the ring and the referee is standing out there with the lock pad and the chain and ready to lock everybody in when everybody's in there. But at certain points in the match, several times during the night, Jesse, both in the men's and women's matches, we found competitors on the outside. Like, isn't the cage supposed to keep everybody contained? And the war between both of these teams is supposed to be contained, which is why we have a double ring and a huge cage that fits overneath the ring. Why is there an over-reliance to be outside the ring when the whole point is to be inside the ring?
Well, that's just a pro wrestling trope.
Yeah, and it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna blame them for body slams now. I mean, that's just every cage match. It spills outside of the cage. I can't remember a Hell in a Cell match.
But this much?
And they all spill to the outside. But somebody in my chat, not just one, multiple people kept pointing out that somewhere it was said in the rules that if you left the Blood and Guts cage, that you were disqualified. Have you heard anything
listen, I am not a savant on the WCW era of War Games. I vaguely remember that may be a rule. Someone in the chat find that out for us, because I'm very curious now that Jesse brought that to our attention.
Yes, don't look into War Games. Look at the Blood and Guts rules. I think someone said it's in the Blood and Guts rules that you had to stay in the cage, and if you left, then you forfeited. Yeah, but not just one, multiple people kept pointing this out. Like, is this a thing?
Yeah, but did they reiterate that on commentary tonight? Was that in the rules? Did Justin Roberts go over that when he went over the official ruling for both matches?
No, they did not. They did not. No. Escape from the cage meant surrender for your team. I'm wondering, chat, someone actually looked that up and find that in print somewhere, because it was the first thing brought up as soon as Julia Hart skirted out of the cage because she fit through the scaffolding and got out. And they were like, wait, if you leave the cage, you forfeit. I'm like, what are you talking about? No. And then they came up again. Somebody else can bring it up. Like, I think that might be a rule.
Well, we've seen,
they weren't going to follow it.
We've seen people on top of the structure before. Jericho and MJF. We've seen Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston, but never to this level, bro. I felt like a lot more people were outside the ring than they were inside the ring, and it happened multiple times during the match. I mean, we even had Mark Briscoe and Wheeler Yuta tonight on top of the fucking cage, which I appreciate. I think the AEW Blood and Guts War Games cage is a lot better presented than the WWE. I like the roof on top of the cage. It's a beautiful cage. I like the roof on top of the cage. I don't like the way Triple H does it, where the roof is open because he wants fucking Io Sky to jump off the top of the cage in a trash can every single year. I think that's fucking lame. I like the presentation of AEW's War Games, but they were up there and they tried to recreate something along the lines of Mankind and The Undertaker at the fucking King of the Ring in 1997.
Yeah.
You're not Undertaker and you're not Mick Foley. I want to make sure everybody's aware of that right now. And then, like Jesse said, there was no fucking payoff up there. We got a Jay Driller, a pile driver. He brought some steel chairs up there. They had a chair battle with the chairs, and that was basically it. There's nothing up there. So what the fuck you being up there for if you're not going to give me a payoff to something happening and you being up there?
Don't go up there. I'm not saying I want to see someone get yeeted off the top of the fucking cage. I actually don't want to see that. But what I'm saying is, don't go up there. If you want to scale the side of it and then jump off the side, sure, that's fine. Once you get on top of that fucking cage, we have been programmed to expect someone to go flying off of it. And if it does not happen, then it feels like a letdown. And if you don't want to go off, just don't go up there. Simple. Fucking simple. Case in point, they went up to the entrance ramp and they climbed up on top and they threw Darby off onto a flaming table.
1998, Chad. I'm sorry. 1998, Foley Undertaker.
Point is, they went up there and someone came off. It's like going to the top rope. If someone goes to the top rope, have you ever noticed, anybody watches pro wrestling, when someone goes to the top rope, even if the spot they plan on doing an elbow, but the opponent get up and knock them out, still someone comes off. You don't see people just climb down and nothing happens. Someone goes off of it. So if you're going to go up there, come off. You don't want to come off, don't go up there, period.
Yeah, I mean, those are just some of the criticisms, and those are valid and big criticisms, in my honest opinion. The fact of the matter is, moderation needs to be taken into consideration from Tony Khan and AEW and the team over there, because a lot of this is just the same old shit. It's not presented as anything new. It's just fucking chaos and more blood on top of more blood for the sake of it, and they don't really know any better, and they need to go to these death-defying acts to try and drum up interest and try and drum up engagement on social media. And all you really need to do, it's not that fucking difficult. Tell a story and give us exactly what you gave us tonight, but a lot less of it, and have it mean more. I don't really think they understand that. And that's the point I'm trying to get at. For years, we had to sit through Hell in a Cell being absolutely decimated by the McMahon administration. And for years, he gave us multiple matches every single year. Multiple matches, sometimes on the same show. I remember one show we had 3 Hell in a Cell matches. That's not needed. We don't need 2 Hell in a Cell matches. We don't need 2 War Games matches. You could do 2 when it matters, and it means something. But if there is just room for 1, and it makes sense to just do 1, then just do 1. I don't understand the fact of we got to do 2 because we got to give to the other side just like we do to the men. We got to give to the women. I never understood that. If it calls for it, do it. If it doesn't, then don't do it. I don't really understand that mentality. So WWE moved away from Hell in a Cell. They don't even do the show every fucking year. They don't even do the match every year. The last time we saw it was Punk and McIntyre. They didn't go outside the cage. They kept it contained within the cage. And we saw blood For the first time in a Hell in a Cell, WWE Hell in a Cell, in years, because McMahon didn't like blood. He didn't like color on TV. He thought it was bad for advertisement. He thought it was just a bad look for the company being a publicly traded company. WWE allowed Punk and McIntyre to bleed. And when they bled, Jesse, a lot of the fans were like, oh, shit, we don't usually see that. Look at that. That itself made the match 1,000 times better than what they did because we saw something we didn't. We saw something that we weren't used to seeing on television. I wish I could bottle that and just hand that off to Tony Khan, man. I want to feel that in AEW. I want to see something not done for fucking months, maybe years. And then they go back to it and it happens and be like, oh shit, we haven't seen that in a while. Where's that? That's the point I'm trying to make. I want to feel that. I want to feel that as a fan. Every single thing we saw tonight, folks, what was there tonight on the show that was presented as something new? You saw it. You saw it 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 times already before this. This year, where's the new?
No, I get it. But don't forget, though, man, pro wrestling as a whole, it is harder and harder and harder to entertain pro wrestling fans. Why? Because we came from an era where a body slam and a DDT was something detrimental. And now 20, 25 years later, 30 years later, they mean nothing. You have to gradually up the ante over the course of the years. So you can't do this same method and the same build that you used to do a cage match back in the day in 2025 because the scale goes up. It gets harder and harder to do. Now, granted, if you do it all on one show, then it makes it even harder to do on the next show. But that's the progression of where we are. That's why people keep saying, "Oh, remember when a finisher was the end?" Yeah. Now finishers get kicked out of. Why? Because fans get trained and used to it. You know what I'm saying? So there is a natural progression to it. AEW is definitely running up the ladder as opposed to slowly progressing up the ladder. You know what I'm saying? That is absolutely true. But as we go further, next year after that, as they sit back and try to figure out how to produce these matches, they all sit back in the back and going, what can we do bigger? What can we do better?
Yeah, that's everybody's mentality now. It's sad.
Yep, every time. Why they want to up themselves. They want to give the fans a reason to say, well, I want to check this one out to see. I saw so many people in my chat. What's Darby going to do this time? Because
bro, we said it last night on TNT, bro. Jason X, what do you think they're going to do? I'm like, someone's going to get set on fire. And what happened? Someone got set on fire. Like, it's so easy to predict because they don't know any better. They don't. That's going to get millions of TikTok views for them. Darby Allin set on fire after being thrown off the stage by Pac.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
Suplexus made a great point in the chat. Shout out to Suplexus. Suplexus said that Julia Hart slid through the cage. I think that's new. Yes. Julia is so small that she fit through the fucking cage and found herself on the outside. That should have been the only time anyone in that match found themselves on the outside. That's it. And then she would have opened the door to let one other woman out to cause some chaos on the outside. But we see Marina Shafir out there. We see railroad spikes that are hidden underneath the fucking barricade. Chris Statlander finds herself out there. I'm like, why do we need all this extra? I don't get it. Like, what are you trying to do, man? Everything is supposed to be inside and contained in the cage. You took that spot away from Julia, which is unique because I never seen anyone slid out of the fucking cage that way. She's so small. That was unique for her and the women. Yet everybody else finds themselves on the outside. Mercedes is on the outside. Statlander's on the outside. Marina's on the outside. So you take away, you took away from Julia getting to the outside in a unique way to let everybody else on the outside.
Well, when she got out, commentary made a big deal. They pointed it out. Like, oh my God, she slid through. You know what I'm saying? She pointed it out. But once she got out and she beat up the ref and got the key, once you open the gate, then yeah, anybody can just walk through the gate. It's open now. She accomplished what she wanted to do. She wanted to open the gate. So, I mean, why would everybody stay inside once she did her little trick?
Why do they only have 2 referees there? There should be a legion of referees out there.
There was 2 inside. There's some outside, but one holding the key to let people in and out. So they just got the key from him.
Well, they got a double referee duty for these matches.
But yeah, I know once she got out though, I mean, what was she to do but open the gate? You know,
but it made but it made everybody else's inclusion on the outside fucking like not unique. I mean, Julia did it in a unique way, and everybody else just find themselves on the outside to do what?
Yeah. No, she did. You know, it was unique. I didn't think about someone being able to get through the scaffolding and getting out like that. And they did point it out, like, oh shit, that was kind of awesome. Didn't see that happening. And she got out and she beat the ref. I'm hoping and expecting to see some kind of penalty or suspension or some kind of something happen to Julie Hart for attacking an official. That's supposed to be a thing. You can't just beat up an official, even if it's a no DQ match. You just can't beat up an official. They have to make sure they follow through in the continuity. It's important throughout even shows like this that you have to keep up continuity. So you can't just get out and beat up a referee.
You know, another thing that was very prominent in the men's match is that we got Wheeler Yuta out there. We got Danny Garcia out there. We got Orange Cassidy out there. We got Roderick Strong out there. Kyle O'Reilly out there. You know, granted that I'm sure they're over the moon about this opportunity because at the beginning of the year, I don't think any of them really found themselves in this type of match, number one. So they got a big opportunity here. But the thing is, they have been so low on the card, and they've been such a non-factor and basically irrelevant for so long that having them in this match with the Death Riders basically made me not give a shit about the match in totality. And it really is painfully obvious now, Jesse, that with MJF off television, hopefully the rumors are correct and he's back very, very soon. With MJF off television, Will Ospreay off television, Swerve off television, Kenny Omega off television, Jay White off television, and whoever else, Adam Cole off television. So many guys, yeah. So many top-level main event guys off of television. It just goes to show you that AEW is now forced to push these low-level guys. They've been buried for so long. Nobody's going to really care about them. It's way too late to resuscitate them. And it's just painfully obvious that the top of the card is just severely lacking in AEW. And this blood and guts match on the men's side didn't feel star-studded. It didn't feel big. It didn't feel important at all. So I don't know how you felt about it, but I'm watching this match and I see a bunch of fucking C and D level guys out there. It's like, how am I supposed to care about this? You know?
Well, that's been a problem they've been having. That is the overall problem. They have too many top guys out at one time. I mean, that is the problem. But you know what though, bro? I pitched this when this company started. I don't know if you remember it, but I pitched this a long time ago, and especially as the roster got bloated, I pitched having a rotating roster and having some of your top talent take some time off throughout the year so that you don't have all of your top guys out injured at once. I pitched and don't just be like, oh, I got to leave in April. It's time for me to go. No. Do it in the storylines and have some guys sit out 5 weeks, 6 weeks, have them sit out 2 pay-per-view cycles and come back and have some more sit out. And you might be able to circumvent some of these injuries because they have too many top guys out at one time for us to really care about a show like this. And there's only so much that can be done. I mean, they are leaning on Hangman becoming a bigger star because he is not as big as the guys that are out right now. And that's a problem. That's a problem, man. He is the world champion. They're working on him. They're trying to get him there, but who are we kidding, man? It's a struggle. And they are missing a Will Ospreay. They are missing Kenny Omega. They are missing these guys, and it's hurt. MJF. As you let these guys go out and do movies and shit like that, you need to understand that your product is gonna feel the consequences of that, and they're feeling it right now.
Yeah, Hangman has not felt any more special being the world champion. I don't know what they've done, where they've gone wrong. It's certainly, I don't know if it's indicative of him. Maybe it is. I mean, this is his second time around as the world champion. Is it him? Is it the creative? I think it's a little bit of both, quite honestly.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's a little bit of both. I don't want to say it's him too much though, man, because what is he doing wrong exactly?
He's not doing anything wrong. He's a great wrestler.
he's a great wrestler. He's over. He's great in the mic. You know what I'm saying? So I would lean more into creative. They're not getting him in the position to do something to be a bigger star. I mean, do something outside of the fucking box, man. Just have him be more of a badass. Be a badass babyface. I mean, I hate throwing comparisons out because then people are like, oh, he's not that guy. I'm not saying it's that guy, but you need to book him along the lines of a Stone Cold Steve Austin. He needs to be more of instead of a sympathetic, nice guy babyface, who will kick some ass, be more of I don't give a fuck about anything but me and my title babyface badass. Come out there and just talk your shit and everything. I mean, just be interesting. Try some different things. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of coming out here and getting booked into this bullshit while Tony Khan sits on his ass and does nothing. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. I mean, just something more. Just being a millennial cowboy is not enough. You just gave him a moniker and he's not living up to it. Be a badass. Be a 2025 cowboy badass. Do cowboy shit without just being a moniker. Do some shit, man, because right now it's just not interesting. But that's not him. That's the creative. They're not doing anything fun. Do something outside of the box. Try some shit. You need to be creative because you are missing your best players right now.
Trey in the chat, Trey Messiah 95. Hangman hasn't felt special since Swerve hasn't been on TV. Yeah, that was the creme de la creme for both of those guys. Again, that's him finding the right dance partner, fight forever type of moniker there with him and Swerve. And it's the creative because they had a great fucking story, and the story was so great, which enhanced everything that they did. If you need any more of an example of why story is so important, just look at Swerve and look at Adam Page and what they did together. And any questions?
100% agree.
We're going to get into the show. There was also an Adam Page match tonight against Powerhouse Hobbs. We got a Falls Count Anywhere match between those two guys. Don't really see the need for a Falls Count Anywhere match on top of 2 1-hour blood and guts matches, but I'm not Tony Khan.
I did. I one big reason why, because they had to follow this fucking women's blood and guts match. What are you gonna do? Go out there and do a headlock? They gotta do something.
Yeah, you don't book the match.
You can do that.
You don't book the match. How about that?
You could do that.
Again, I don't know why we needed a Falls Count Anywhere match. That's a good point, though. We didn't need one. I don't know why we got one. And then on top of that, on top of everything that we got in that Falls Count Anywhere match, Samoa Joe came out and again attacked Adam Page with Shibata, and the Ops tried to get the one-up on Page. And then Page made the announcement that we're going to get a steel cage match at Full Gear between Adam Page and Samoa Joe on a show where we just got 2 steel cage matches. Why do we need another steel cage match when we just got 2 1-hour steel cage matches? Who books this shit? Why is everything done in abundance? Where's in moderation with this fucking company? Or am I speaking out of my fucking asshole? Which one is it? Am I wrong? Please tell me I'm not wrong.
It's such piss poor timing too, man.
Horrible, bro. It's terrible.
In between the 2 cage matches we're getting tonight, we got an announcement that we get another cage match in 2 weeks. That is such piss poor timing. And even outside of the timing, it's too soon. You got to come up with something.
It's like you're at the fucking bar and you had 4 old fashions and then you go order another one. It's like, all right, bro, enough is enough. You don't need another one. What are you doing? Call it quits. You know when to call it quits. They don't know when to call it quits. They're the drunk at the bar who continues to order drinks, and the bartender's already flagged you 4 fucking times already. Come on, man. We're going to go over this show. There's only 3 matches. I'd like to get out of here in a timely fashion because I'd like to go back on Arc Raiders. So that's what I want to do. And then Jesse wants to get to bed because I'm sure he's got a busy day tomorrow. But we're going to get into this. Yes, you got a busy day tomorrow?
Absolutely, man.
All right, there you go. We'll get into this, and I want to thank you guys for joining us here on this Wednesday night. We got 2,200 people in here. I'm sure that's the #1 AEW stream in the community, so thank you guys very much. Follow us on social media at JDfromNY 206, at Chi-Town Smark on X. You guys know where to find me. Hit that subscribe button down below on YouTube. go follow Jesse on YouTube. I linked his channel down below in the description. Please go and check that out. Click his name. It'll take you right there. Make sure you guys get those super chats in. Best way to support the show is via the super chats. We'll hang out when all this is over. Any questions, comments, concerns, opinions, let us know. We'll hang out with you. I got my cold beverage all ready to go. So does Jesse. He's got his Jim Beam next to him. We do have a Collision Corner, correct, Jesse? You told me we have a Collision Corner lined up tonight.
Oh, yes, we have a special edition of Collision Corner tonight. We have so you know how Collision Corner has spawned off and given us a Lucha Lane?
Yes.
Okay. We have a zero fucks given Collision Corner lined up tonight.
Well, those are my favorite.
Zero fucks given. It's abbreviated, but I'm telling you right now, it's straight to the goddamn point.
All right. So for that, we need 800 likes. There is a Collision Corner. 800 likes is the goal. We got 2,200 people in here. That should be a walk in the park. So make sure you guys go and do that. We already got 530 in, so if you want to see Collision Corner, you know what to do. And please go check out all the content on the channel. It is on the homepage. We did TNT last night. Great discussion. Episode 120. Talked about John Cena winning the IC title. We talked about Tegan Knox and Miranda Alizé walking out of AEW Collision. We talked about Ridge Holland and Survivor Series and how the War Games teams are shaping up. A lot to discuss on TNT, so go check that out. And Monday night, we were live with Raw and John Cena, Dominic Mysterio in Boston, as John Cena has 3 dates left. As we also got the start of the Last Time Is Now tournament to see who wrestles John Cena in his final match ever. So go check all that stuff out. Notes, I will not be live on Friday for SmackDown as I traditionally would be. I am attending the Miles Kennedy and Wolfgang Van Halen concert on Friday in New Jersey. So if anything big happens on SmackDown, I will touch base with you guys on Saturday and may do a Saturday stream instead. So Friday, I will not be here. I am not missing Miles Kennedy for fucking Friday Night SmackDown. Just letting you know. What's going on your end, Jesse? Anything new, exciting on the channel?
Not much new and exciting. We will do some more gaming tomorrow. We'll be hanging out. We got a couple different things going on there. I am in the works of possibly I'm gonna poll my audience and see if they're interested in if I do some MMA live watch-alongs.
There you go.
In the same fashion that we did the TNA watch-along.
Do it.
So we will see. I'm working with the facilitators, and we're gonna see what pops up for that.
All right, so you got that to potentially look forward to, and we're going to get into this show right now here for AEW Blood and Guts. So the bell rang 4 minutes into the hour at 8 o'clock. Willow and Sky Blue. Sky Blue, she needed the money. Oh!
Come on. Maybe she loved her husband. How about that one?
I got to get my dice clay in there, bro.
Oh.
It's only a joke, okay? Just like Dice Clay, he's a comedian. He tells jokes for a living. Right?
Does Arc Raiders go first person or was it all third?
It is third person. It is fantastic. I'm addicted to it. I love it. Game of the year so far for me.
All right, I'm gonna check it. I'm watching gameplay.
There you go. So the bell rang 4 minutes into the hour. Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale started. Danielson noted that Willow's hair was up, and he said, when my wife's hair is up, I know I'm in for it, Danielson said.
Oh, God.
In what way? In what way, Dragon?
Bree mode.
Yeah, Bree mode. Yeah. Beer mode. Like we talked about on TNT, it's beer mode. Anyway, Willow gave Blue a slingshot powerbomb into the side of the cage and then pounced into the cage. I don't know what the fuck happened here, but Sky Blue came up bleeding. I don't know if she bled hard way, but I'm assuming this was a blade job because the way that she was bleeding was absolutely ridiculous within the first 6 minutes of this match, which is what we went and talked about at the top here. We didn't need this type of visual so early in the match. You basically gave the reason for the match away in the first 6 minutes. Build up to it. Have it mean something when it actually happens. The fact that you got through, it's like you pounded fucking 4 shots of something when you just got to the bar to begin your night, and you ruined the whole fucking night. What else is there for you to do? The whole reason you went out is to get a little fucking stunad, and you got drunk in the first 5 minutes as soon as you walked into the bar. Who does that? Maybe my parents do that. I don't know about you guys, but I don't do that. I pace myself over the night because I want to have a good time. 6 minutes. So Julia Hart came out next. She and Sky Blue, the Sisters of Sin, took over against Willow. They searched. By the way, I have to say this. Sky Blue came out with a kendo stick, and Willow came out with a trash can lid. Can we like stop with the weapons? Everybody's like a fucking anime character. They come out with their fucking wielding their weapons. Like the cage is the weapon, okay? And if you by chance find yourself on the outside, then you may go get a weapon. Why do we need to introduce weapons into the fucking match when you're coming down and making your entrance? I don't understand it. It's just one of those wrestling tropes that we talked about. It's awful. It looks cringy.
Anything you don't complain about?
Yes. The beautiful whiskey collection I have downstairs, and I sit downstairs and I just contemplate life. Yeah, you gotta come over, man. You'll be amazed about what I got down there. Yeah,
playing everything that happens in pro wrestling. I would say that if you have a no DQ match, you have to come out with no weapons during a regular match.
Jesse,
so
it sucks. It sucks.
If you come out in a no DQ match, why not bring weapons?
It sucks.
You didn't answer the question.
It sucks.
You didn't answer the question.
What question?
You have to come out with no weapons for a standard match. So if you have a no DQ match, why would you not take the advantage and bring out a weapon?
I'm not sure I understand you.
Deflect, but you're not answering the question.
Bro, the cage is the weapon. What do you want me to tell you? The cage is the weapon.
You can't carry the cage. You can carry a stick and then use the cage too.
Bro, they brought out weapons, and the thing that busted Sky Blue open was not the weapons. What do you want me to tell you?
We don't know how she got busted open.
She got busted open by going into the cage, which is the weapon.
Was it hard way or did she blade?
Who knows? The perception is she got busted open by the cage. If she bladed or not is a non-issue.
I remember when I used to sit there and say, like, if this is no DQ match, why are you not using weapons? Triple threat match, no one using weapons. It's no DQ. Why not?
One of those things we're never going to agree on. We're moving on. You guys know where I'm coming from.
I'm going to hit you with a fucking stick if we get into a fight. That's what I'm doing. Or we're going to get into a fight, but you're not allowed to use weapons. Okay, then I won't use weapons. Okay, we're going to get into another fight. This time you can use weapons, but don't you bring any. Fuck you. I'm going to hit you with a stick.
Jesse, they're walking into a weapon.
That's there too.
Yes. That's all you need.
All of it.
That's all you need. That's all you need. That's all you need. Anyway. Yeah, that should be the new intro. Yeah. It sucks. Yeah. Actually, we may do that. We may do that. Julia came out, so her and Sky Blue were there against Willow. They searched for something in a turnbuckle, came up empty. I don't know what would be behind the turnbuckle, but apparently Excalibur mentioned that wrestlers earlier were able to scout the cage and they might have placed weapons within the cage. Maybe. Oh, so why did they come out with weapons then?
Maybe. I don't know. Why would you hide them? You can just bring them out.
See, now they don't make any sense, right?
They make any fucking sense. No. Fuck you hiding them out there for?
So Harley Cameron came out next. She beats up Julia Hart and Blue as Willow recovered. We go into a commercial break. Tekla, Jesse. She's out there. Tekla. She looked good out there.
Looks damn good.
She whipped her opponents with her belt. She had this belt. It was a belt, belt that you wrap around your pants and you tighten your pants so they don't fall off. She had this wrapped around her boot. I was like, what is she going for? Is she going in her boot? Is she going to take off her boot? No, she just pulls off a belt off of her boot, and then that's her weapon. See, that's creative. That's creative. It's not presented as a weapon. It's a part of her attire.
Yeah, she could use that in a regular wrestling match when the ref's not looking.
She could.
Can't bring out a garbage can lid when the ref's not looking. He's gonna see that shit. He's gonna see that.
Oh my god. Tekla's out there with the belt. Jamie Hayter came out next. She's got thumbtacks. She brought out a sack of tacks. Hayter slammed Tekla's face first right onto the tacks. So then out comes Megan Bayne. She's out there with Penelope Ford, who's got her arm in a sling. Megan Bayne comes out with a trash can lid. And we got Statlander out there. She comes out with a pool cue in her hand. So that's her weapon of choice. I guess she's a big pool player. I don't know. Do you play pool, Jesse?
I play. I know how to play. I am very mediocre at it at best. I am not going to say I'm like, I will kick your ass at pool. No, I know how to play. I know the rules. I know the mechanics. I'm mediocre. I'm not gonna murder anybody.
Oh, so you're not Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince, who's hustling Will Smith to safety over there, huh?
I'm not gonna break out Lucille. No.
Okay.
No,
okay.
That's not me.
Just making sure.
But I'm gonna pause for a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
I wanna put a strike on everybody who came out to this fight in their wrestling attire. You're supposed to come out here in fucking jeans and a t-shirt. Cut off t-shirt with the sleeves cut off. Jean shorts will work just fine. Megan Bayne came out here in a full goddamn gear.
Well, she didn't know. She didn't know any better, bro. She didn't know yet.
Well, we have to inform her. You come out in street clothes for these fights, bruh. Come on, what are we doing here? She wasn't the only one. Somebody else came out in full gear too.
Yeah, she looked out of place in there for sure with that. Yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Man, come on.
So Megan Bayne's out there. Willow is in this position where Stat got some offense, offered a handshake to Willow. Willow backed away. I guess that's the story that they're trying to tell in the match. Megan Bayne shoved Statlander. We've been telling that story for what, 2 years now?
Pretty much, yeah.
Bayne shoved Statlander into Willow. Statlander and Bayne have a stare down because they have a brief history in the Casino Gauntlet match. So out comes... we have Mercedes out next, and we have her ring boys standing outside in front of a table with all of her championship belts on the table. So Mercedes is in there, and the only reason I have to reiterate this. The only reason why Mercedes is in there is because she asked Tony Khan to be in there because this is the first Women's Blood and Guts, and if you expect Mercedes to not be a part of the first something in pro wrestling when it comes to women, you are sadly mistaken. So she wanted to be in there. I'm sure she used her creative influence. And by default, Tony Khan had to put Statlander in there because you can't have 6 on one side and then 5 on the other. So he put Stat in there to make Mercedes' inclusion somewhat make sense. But honestly, and I'm interested to hear your take, Jesse, I don't think Stat or Mercedes did anything that really kind of offset this match. They didn't really even need to be there. To be quite honest with you, the match would have been fine without their inclusion.
No. It did not. It's completely against Mercedes' character to even want to be in this match.
Yes.
I mean, she should have been massively forced to be in it for some reason that makes sense for her to be. She didn't need to be here. She's the fucking champion. If I'm Chris Statlander and I'm Mercedes, I'm the champion. I'm not participating in this bullshit. I got a title match coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm not gonna risk that. No. For what?
Mercedes was the only one who didn't bleed in this match.
There's no reason for her to be in it. If I'm Statlander, especially if I'm Chris Statlander with a history of knee injuries, I'm not. Why would you want to be? There is no reason for the champions, the 2 top women in the division, to be in this match. Let the other ones fight it out.
Yeah.
Hell, as a matter of fact, make it worth something. The winning team gets to participate in a match to see who's number 1 contender for a women's championship. Hell, how about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, she didn't belong there. She was also in her wrestling gear too. Mercedes.
Yeah. No. Get out of here with that shit. Do not come to a blood and guts match in your wrestling gear. No.
She wants to be in the match just to pad her own resume, but then she doesn't want to be in the match to do what the match calls for because she's got to land more movie roles in Hollywood. So she didn't want to really give us blood and guts Mercedes version. She wanted to give us blood and guts WWE version. So
it need to be there.
No. So she's out there. She gives Statlander a DDT on the TBS title. She left the cage and brought more of her belts into the ring. So she handed all of her team championship belts as weapons to use against the babyfaces here. So we get Mina coming out there. She's got a barbed wire baseball bat, which, I mean, if there was a weapon of choice out of all the weapons we've seen so far, she's obviously got the better taste in weapons.
There you go.
Yeah. So Shafir comes out after Mina, and this is about a half an hour in now. She dragged a bloody Statlander out of the ring, and this is commentary side, and she goes by the barricade and she pulls out a bed of railroad spikes. Statlander fought back. Shafir kicked Statlander onto the bed of railroad spikes. She flat-backed onto them, winced, fans chanted, "Holy shit." Shafir took off her socks, threw them at Statlander, and then gave her a middle finger. And then we get Toni Storm as the final entrant. I thought Mercedes was going to be last, to be quite honest with you. Toni Storm came out last. She looked like a female Joker out there with her face paint. She had white face paint with this lipstick that was like very Joker-esque out there.
Yeah, it's fucking psycho. I don't know if I like it.
Psycho Tony. I don't like it. I don't like it. Toni Storm came out and bashed her opponents with wrapped fists. And she had her pearl necklace, and she was just going to town with punches with the pearls in her hand. The cage door closed, 32 minutes in, and we got the match officially beginning. Storm and Mina Shikara worked together. Then they hugged. Obviously, they are the favorites to win the Women's Tag Team Championships in the tournament. We don't know when those titles will be decided upon. Hopefully, Full Gear, I think, is the destination for that. Hayter powerbombed Sky Blue off the side of the cage onto a table, which did not break. Hayter then leapt onto Blue with an elbow drop, and they landed on the table from the long way. And obviously, they had to force the table to break. Mercedes gave Toni a moneymaker, or money-maker. She gave a backstabber to Statlander. Harley then came in and was behind Mercedes, and she held up the puppet. She had the Mercedes doll on her hand, and Mercedes yanked it off her hand and threw it away. Fans booed. Harley then, underneath the puppet, had brass knuckles, which Mercedes didn't know, and then she ended up punching and KOing Mercedes down. She knocked her out. Julia and Tekla crawled through an opening in the cage and found their way outside. So Julia walked at ringside and approached the referee and demanded the key to the cage because the match has now officially begun, and they locked everybody inside with a padlock. Tekla speared the referee, and then they took the... Tekla, Jesse. Tekla.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she took the referee, speared him. Key was now in their possession, and Mercedes is out there. She threw Harley, Hayter, and Statlander out of the ring. Tekla speared them at ringside. Mercedes and Statlander climbed the cage, and at this point, Statlander put Mercedes on her shoulder, and she leapt onto a table with the belts on it and put Mercedes through the table. So that was basically it for both Statlander and Mercedes. Thanks for coming. Mercedes only wanted to be included, and she didn't really give a shit about anything else that happened in that match. So that's what theoretically eliminated her from the rest of the match. Toni Storm. She then picks up a mirror like you would find in your bedroom. She picks up a mirror, and she puts it against Marina Shafir in the corner. She's about to do the hip attack in the corner. So Marina is holding this mirror up against her, and it looks fucking ridiculous. So I was hoping, and I was saying to myself, please move, or please throw the mirror away before she actually does the hip attack on you, because it would look ludicrous to just sit there and hold the fucking mirror when you can easily throw the mirror away. So she did that. She got up, and she threw the mirror in Toni's face as she came charging for the hip attack, and the mirror broke all over the place. So that's 7 years of bad luck for AEW. We are what, on year 3 now? So 4 more years of bad luck for AEW. Yeah, that was a good spot. Holy shit by North Carolina here after that spot. Mina covered in blood herself. She is obviously worried about Toni Storm. So she bashed Megan Bayne with the barbed wire bat. She then put Bayne in a figure 4 leg lock with a aluminum bat wedged in there for extra measure. Marina comes in, and this was fucking slick. This was one of my favorite parts of the match, Jesse. Marina with the broken shards of glass from the mirror. She stomps on the glass and then stomps on Mina with shards of glass in her foot.
Yeah,
that was fucking great. I gotta admit, that was great.
That was great. I did not quite understand why she took her goddamn boots off and then got into a thumbtack glass-filled ring, though.
Well, I mean, I guess it adds to the lore of her being a badass. She's probably the most badass addition to the fucking Death Riders, to be quite honest with you.
I actually said that I felt that this match should have been a nice little showcase to get Marina over, because in an environment like this, it's not reliant on her wrestling ability, and they can showcase her as a badass in it.
You know, I wonder with her in a tag team with Megan Bayne, I wonder if this is a test to see how Marina does on TV in a tag team. I genuinely wonder if they plan on bringing in Shayna Baszler, you know, because she's free.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know, but I'm telling you, I want to see Marina do well. I'm actually enjoying her booking in the Death Riders. I'm just worried that putting her in a tag team with a pure wrestler like Megan Bayne is going to have her stand out to not look as good.
No.
You know?
No. I think if Shayna Baszler comes in with what Shayna did in NXT, if they allow her to be that Shayna Baszler, man, we could be in for something cool there, you know?
That would be nice. That would be extremely nice.
That was I love Shayna Baszler. That Shayna was so great, man. That's a very underrated NXT Women's Champion right there. A lot of people look at Asuka and Rhea and you know all the others, the Four Horsewomen. Shayna had a great reign down there.
She did.
So we'll see.
She really did.
So Bayne bashed Mina as Shafir held her, and the other heels held Toni Storm, and they made Toni rather watch Mina get blasted by the heels here, and then she ended up saving Mina from any more hurt, and she ended up surrendering, Jesse. So the heels, they basically tortured Mina and forced Toni Storm to surrender for the babyfaces. Mercedes, at this point, was still KO'd out ringside through the table with Chris Statlander. And Toni, at the end of this, tried to save Mina as the heels win. So Mercedes, Bayne, Hart, Blue, and Tekla with Shafir win in 47 minutes. The heels win blood and guts.
Bro, you know what I would have done with the women's blood and guts match? And maybe to an extent the men's. Just to make it mean more is kind of what we touched on earlier. Have the winning team get the ability to go into a match, like since I would have taken out Mercedes, taken out Stat, and maybe like a fatal 5-way or a gauntlet match. The winning team gets to compete somehow to become the number one contender. And it gives them so much more of a reason to want to beat the shit out of each other because they all want to be champion. Hell, you can even pick your champion. You can pick Mercedes or you can pick Chris Statlander.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It would have, I mean, and make it a yearly thing. So why is blood and guts happening? Because we get to determine the number one contender for X pay-per-view or whatever it is. Every year going forward, the winner of the blood and guts get to participate in either a series of matches or a big match to determine a winner. And you have your number one contender right there. I mean, it gives the match so much more fucking purpose. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I would like for some continuity in that type of way too, but it's too difficult for both Tony Khan and Triple H to come up with anything creative nowadays. So I don't really expect that from them. But Marina looked good here. Marina and Megan Bayne will undoubtedly be in the semifinals against Toni Storm and Mina. So they kind of set that up here to have a little tension going into that semifinal match. It's not there yet. It's not official, but I'm assuming that's where we're going for the semifinals. And then on the other side, we got Sky Blue and Julia Hart against Harley Cameron and Willow. I don't know. That's a very unpredictable match. I could see Harley and Willow going to the finals against Toni and Mina, but that would be babyface versus babyface. If they want to put over Harley and Willow, I wouldn't have any problem with that, but I don't see that happening. I think Sky Blue and Julia will be in the finals against Toni Storm and Mina, and then Toni Storm and Mina will win the tag team championships. But you saw some minor tension there going into the tournament. I thought Mina stood out, Marina stood out in this. I thought Tekla looked good in there. I thought Sky Blue was a badass in there. Everybody, Willow always looks good. But other than that,
they all look great.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, Mercedes didn't need to be there. Stat didn't really add anything to it. Like I said before, those two did not need to be in this at all, and they were only in there for reasons. Jamie Hayter felt like a non-factor in there. Megan Bayne didn't really do anything in there. She always looks good, though. I enjoyed this more than the men, But everything that we said at the top, at the beginning of this show in the introduction, I still feel the same way. I'm not going to reiterate myself because if you guys want to go back, you go listen to that. There were problems with this. There was an over-reliance of blood and being on the outside and weapons and all this other stuff. And the way it was kind of molded together and pieced together and produced, you know, they go from 0 to 1,000 instead of just kind of building it and just having it level up, you know, one after another. And then, you know, it just ends up being a great match. It was a good match. And for a first ever women's blood and guts match, it's going to be something that looking back next year, looking back at this, you're going to see if they can top it. But how are they going to top it? More blood, more violence, more outside, more this, more that. So it's like, if they do it in moderation, it would open them up to being a little bit more creative to top themselves the following year, and the year after that, and the year after that. How the fuck are they going to top themselves next year?
Yeah, no, they make it hard on themselves every time they progress it, you know, especially if they plan on doing it every year. You know, but I really do hope someone looks into crowning a number one contender. I mean, not only that, it gives you booking. It gives you something to book towards in the coming weeks after a match like this. Like, after a match like this, what's the fallout? Well, the fucking fallout is the winners now get to compete to see who's number one contender. So, and now it gives those matches purpose and things like that. I mean, as opposed to, okay, Blood and Guts is over. Next week, it's just Dynamite now, and who cares what happened last week?
Yeah.
It gives matches purpose. So they really should make this for something, and for something important, and for the love of fuck's sakes, not money. Not money.
Monopoly money?
No more money matches. No. Number one contender should be crowned in some form or another based on their blood and guts performance or the winning team or something like that. Whoever gets the pin. How about that? How about 5 women? 5 women win. The one who got the pin gets a bye. The other 4 compete in a fatal 4-way match. All right. The winner of that fatal 4-way match faces the one that got the pin. And now you got a couple of weeks of booking of important shows you can promote and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just something of interest. That's actually a pretty damn good idea. The 5 who won, whoever got the pin, bye. The other 4, fatal 4-way. They face each other. Number one contender, pick your champion. I just booked 3 or 4 weeks of important women's matches.
I don't know, man. You're asking a lot of Tony Khan, bro. You're asking a lot.
That is a lot. That is a lot.
You mean to tell me you don't like fictional money matches, bro? You're over the money matches.
I'm over that shit. It's so stupid.
I don't know. We'll see. We move on to the Don Callis family. They were in the back. They were all of a sudden after the break. We just see the Don Callis family attacking Jurassic Express in the parking lot. Perry tried to fight back with a trash can lid. He was overwhelmed by the Callis family. All of a sudden, we get a smiling Kazuchika Okada walking out of the trailer of the Don Callis family with the Young Bucks, and he stood alongside Don Callis and the Young Bucks. Callis said Kenny Omega will be on Dynamite next week, and he said that hopefully they could teach him a lesson, just like they taught Jurassic Express a lesson this week. He told the Bucks to send Omega a message and join the Don Callis family next week. Okada pointed at his watch and said, "Decision time," and then he moved on. So, bro, what are we doing here, man? The tag team match at Full Gear is Josh Alexander and the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express with $1 million in fake money on the line. Is this being used? Is this instance being used for the Bucks to eventually side with their friend Omega and finally turn babyface and then maybe chase the tag team titles?
Could be.
Are they going to join the Callis family, or are they going to realize that their bond with Kenny is stronger?
They're showing signs of a babyface turn. I'm not gonna lie, man. I had an interest in watching the Bucks, you know, in their journey to try to get their titles back, to get their respect back. But it feels like they aren't sure how they want to make this journey happen. And it seems that they're pivoting mid-story because this stuff does not seem linear. It just doesn't feel like this is what they originally wanted to do. And they're just changing lanes here. And it's starting to make less and less sense, which is in turn making me care less about it. Okay. I mean, it made sense when they were just broke and being shit on, and they kept trying to get money, and now they're trying to get their titles. Now they're shifting to possibly teaming with these guys to try to get the bro. This makes no sense. They should be trying to win the tag team titles. What the fuck are we doing here? Why all these different directions? And
I don't know.
I mean, we're just gonna end up caring less. All right. It was fun. It was cool how they were disrespected because they lost their EVP titles. And it was clear that they had to get their titles back to get their respect. And now we're involving the Don Callis family, who has enough fucking members. This is getting so tedious and unnecessary. It's made sense a while ago. Now it's just getting stupid.
They have enough members, man. I couldn't tell. I thought they needed at least 8 more.
It's so, I mean, this it was fun and it was cool and it made sense. And now they drug it out in the wrong direction. It's lost its way. These guys should be focused on getting the tag team titles and nothing else. Okay, that's it.
We'll see. I don't know. Tag team titles right now are on Brodito. They may not be on Brodito after full year because we may have FTR as the new tag team champions. We don't really know, but do we really care about seeing the Young Bucks versus FTR 6? Do we really want to see that? Who asked for that? I don't know. That's the latest there with the Don Callis family. So that's the big hook for next week. Omega's going to be back, and a decision has to be made.
Okay, great.
A decision should have been made to left this off the show because this barely came about last week at the end of the show where Powerhouse Hobbs put Adam Page through a table off the stage, World's Strongest Slam off the stage through a table, and then Tony Schiavone says, Tony Khan just now announced we got a Falls Count Anywhere match. We'll see you next week. That's how we booked the match next week, or last week for this week. Adam Page versus Powerhouse Hobbs of the Ops. Falls Count Anywhere match. This is another simplistic fucking dummy feud just to get Page from one week to the next, and then into the pay-per-view. Tonight he fights Hobbs. Saturday he fights Shibata. Yeah, good luck with that. Or is it next week? Next week is a 3-hour, we're back to that 3-hour fucking block. Just 2 hours of Dynamite, 1 hour collision.
Bro, listen to me. Look.
Yes, we will go live at normal time, bro. We'll be live at 10:30.
Okay, all right.
We're not waiting until 11:05 to go live. I'll tell you that right now.
Fucking hell.
So, yes, this match came about last week, and Hobbs has got to run all through the Ops to get to Samoa Joe. So, 1 minute into the match, Hobbs yanked the turnbuckle pad off. Hangman did the same in the opposite corner. So Hobbs ducked the leaping Hangman, and he checked him hard down to the mat with a big shoulder tackle. Hobbs stripped off Hangman's bandages that were around his ribs and then kicked him to the floor where he rammed him into the ringside barricade. So Hangman avoided another charge from Hobbs, who crashed into the ringside steps. Hangman left up the steps, but Hobbs caught him and rammed him onto the ring apron and then onto the announce desk. And at this point, Hobbs is looking at Schiavone, and he's yelling at Tony, saying, it's your fault. I guess because he dressed as Phantom of the Opera on Halloween. That's why he's blaming Tony Schiavone. We should blame Tony for a lot more things, not just that. So then he took Hangman, Hobbs did, and he power slammed him on top of the steel steps in a nasty spot. Don't know why you're doing that type of shit to the world champion 2 weeks before his big World Championship match against Samoa Joe. Stupid. It looked nasty. They go to a commercial break. We come back from the break. Hobbs placed Hangman on the announce desk, and they tried to stand on the desk, and Hobbs slipped in between the little partition that was between the front edge of the table and the actual table itself. I thought he may have hurt himself. These AEW tables are very fucking weird. Sometimes they break, sometimes they don't break, sometimes they're not constructed together. I don't know what the case is, but it's just a disaster out there every time on these tables. His foot slipped, and his left leg got wedged briefly in between the desk. Hangman backdropped Hobbs onto the floor in this spot. And Jesse, please tell me you saw this. The way Hobbs bounced, spine first, ass first on the floor. Bro, I thought Michael Jordan was dribbling a fucking basketball on the fucking floor outside. Holy shit.
Bro, that was the first time I ever saw a guy take a bump and looked like he got up and no-sold it. But I'm looking at it like, bro, that's not a no-sell. That motherfucker got up in pain. He got up. His natural reaction was to get up. That he looked like he landed nasty. That was a hard. That's a big man to land like that on the floor, man. He bounced. He straight up just boop. He almost bounced straight to his feet. He bounced so hard. He got up and like, ooh, I gotta stand up. I don't know if I can stand up. I better stand up. Oh my God. I felt that. I felt that bump for him, man.
That was awful. And someone in the chat, NM949 says, JD, please clarify that Hangman is the men's world champion. No, I will not do no such thing. No, he's the AEW world champion. He's a man. We are to believe he's the men's champion by default. So I don't know why we're going with that narrative. But yeah, there's so much wrong with this, man. He could have spinal fucking compression. He could have broke his tailbone. Fucking lower back pain. I mean, that's just, bro, on a Dynamite in front of 4,000 people, in front of 450,000 people watching on TV, man. Was that spot worth it? In this match, on this night, was it worth it?
When is it worth it?
No, it's never worth it. Never.
Bingo.
For a match that was made legitimately in seconds last week for this week.
Bingo.
I don't get it. So, fans are chanting cowboy shit, cowboy shit. Hangman clothesline Hobbs over the ringside barricade. So, like Jesse said, he basically no-sold it. And then they brawled into the fucking crowd.
Man.
Hobbs power slammed the charging Hangman through a table, scored a 2 count. They fought up the steps amongst the fans in the lower section there. Hangman got a running start and hit Hobbs and knocked him off the top of the tunnel with a cowboy boot. And he jumped and fell from the ledge down below, through a table. Electrical equipment was on the table. A production crate was on the table. We see sparks fly. A production crate lands on Hobbs. Hangman walked down the steps, went for the cover. 1, 2, 3, and he beats Powerhouse Hobbs here after knocking him off the lower mezzanine through electrical equipment and a production crate. Through a table. 14 minutes. So, at the end of this match, Shibata attacked Hangman as he was celebrating after beating Hobbs. Shibata threw Hangman into the ringside barricade and then into the ring where Joe arrived and started attacking Hangman, so we got a 2-on-1 attack here. Joe, all of a sudden, asks for the cage, the War Games cage, to come down and lower. Now, I have a serious question here. Like, who is Samoa Joe to order anybody to lower the cage? And who is abiding by Samoa Joe's word? Who's in charge there?
He's the world champion, right?
Samoa Joe?
Yeah.
He's not the world champion. He's the trios champion.
There's your clout. It's your clout. He's the bro. He's 1/3 of the trios champions. That's clout, bro.
I guess we'll just chalk this up to Samoa Joe having creative control.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
That's basically what that. I don't know why that was a decision. Like who's in charge of the cage? Who lowers and raises the cage? So I don't understand that.
You could have circumvented this nonsensical shit by flashing to whoever does control the cage and having Shibata back there, then having them in a chokehold, telling them to lower the goddamn cage.
Why do you make so much sense here, bro? I don't understand it. Why can't they come up with this shit?
No idea. No clue.
So they lower the cage after Joe wants it, and Shibata and Joe attack. Eddie Kingston runs out. Shibata prevented him from entering the cage. Hook then ran out, slid into the ring before the cage lowered. Eddie made it in the cage before it fully lowered as well. Joe and Shibata stood at ringside and watched as the fans chanted, Eddie, Eddie. Hangman picked up a microphone and yelled at Joe and said, Joe, if you wanted me inside a steel cage, all you had to do was ask, you dumbass. He then told him that their match at Full Gear will be inside a steel cage. On a night where we got 2 steel cage matches that both went over 45 minutes, we're going to get another steel cage match, which is probably going to go at least 30 minutes at the pay-per-view. 3 steel cage matches in AEW, Jesse, in the span of a week and a half. Please tell me that this is not crazy, or I'm not crazy, and that this is very much overload. Steel cage. Overload in the steel department for AEW.
It's too much, man. It's too much, too fast. No reason. Nope.
Mr. Team, bring it. JD, are you and Sap cool again? LOL. I don't know. What did I say? What did he say? I didn't say anything about Sap. I haven't mentioned Sap in months.
Nothing. Do not let some random fucking dude in the chat start some
It's
bullshit.
not
No.
some random. It's Mr. Team, bring it. He's a VIP here.
He doesn't even have a fucking microphone.
He's in the
next to
chat
him.
all the time.
So what? Move on.
Now, me and Sap are cool. Sap reached out when my grandma passed away. I got no issue with Sap. Hopefully, we can move on as adults. I told him I'd buy him a beverage if I see him next time.
There we go. Now, favorite, can we please skip this fucking segment?
No, because I know he's going to catch wind of it. We need to get our kicks in here, bro.
Please, can we please skip this fucking segment?
Ricky Steamboat.
Oh my God, no.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He's out there with Tony Schiavone. He's talking about what he meant to pro wrestling in this arena in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina. Steamboat, 72 years old. He walked out smiling. He took forever to get his words out. I thought they were going to bring out Ric Flair. I'm surprised they didn't bring out Ric Flair, being that this is Ric Flair country.
My chat said he was supposed to come, but didn't show.
Maybe they didn't pay him enough, and he opted to walk out like Tegan Knox did.
Yeah.
For different reasons. She walked out, though. So he had to come down to the ring. Danielson called him an incredible human. And Steamboat is in there with Tony Schiavone. He said he wanted to give a shout out to TBS for airing this episode.
Oh.
Yeah, shout out for TBS airing the episode. He pointed out a poster that said, look, there's a post in the crowd that has the Mount Rushmore of Greensboro. There's Steamboat, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, and Sting on this poster board. Now, did you get a glimpse of this poster board, Jesse? Did you see this in the crowd? Jesse saw this poster board in the crowd. This was so well done that I don't even think this human being who held this sign up actually made that sign himself. I thought this was a planted sign just for this segment alone. That's my conspiracy theory. That sign was way too polished to be a regular pro wrestling sign, chat. Way too polished. So, yes, Jesse's drinking. Enjoy that cold beverage, bro. He said his number one nemesis was Ric Flair back in the day, who let out a woo. He said in 1977, he arrived at Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. Why this is important today, I don't really know. He said Flair told Jim Crockett that he saw something in this new kid that just came in, and then they were interrupted by FTR and Big Stoke. Steamboat shook hands with Dax and Cash.
Hold on.
Yeah, again.
How many likes do we need for Collision Corner?
800.
Chat, if we get to 800, the faster we get there, we can skip the rest of this segment. We'll go to Collision Corner and we'll just go
Who's
on.
in charge here? Who's in charge here?
Get to 800, chat, please. Please. Please.
So Big Stoke is out there. He says he couldn't believe what he was hearing in the ring with Steamboat. Fans booed him. He says they haven't met before, but let me introduce myself. He told Steamboat many people confuse him with Denzel Washington. He says he is synonymous with pro wrestling history, especially in that building. He says that's ironic because at Full Gear, FTR will make history when they become 3-time AEW Tag Team Champions. He says he would be honored if his favorite wrestler was there to witness it live. He asked Steamboat if he has Macho Man Randy Savage's phone number. I haven't seen him on TikTok in a minute, Big Stoke says. So Cash told Steamboat that Stokely can be feisty sometimes, but they hold him in the highest regard. He says they were handpicked to be his partners in Steamboat's last match in 2022. Cash said Steamboat knows if anyone could make him look like a shell of his former self, it's FTR. Steamboat soaked that up. Dax says he doesn't know if it's common knowledge, but Steamboat trained him and he's learned so much. He then struggled to come up with something Steamboat taught him. He said he now realizes Steamboat never said one intelligent thing in his entire life. Steamboat then interrupted and said the one thing that he didn't teach them is that his attitude has gone down the toilet. He told Dax that it doesn't matter how much he makes, but rather how much you save. He said if Steamboat took advice like that, he wouldn't have been here tonight. Dax said when Steamboat was teaching him, he would have guessed he turned into a bigger legend than Steamboat ever was. Dax went nose to nose with Steamboat. It got intense, and Steamboat ended up shoving Dax. Dax told Steamboat to get out of his ring. Cash held open the ropes. Steamboat said a few years ago he would have told both of them to kick his ass, but sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. He says he's going to turn 73 soon, so he's going to be the smarter man today. He turned to leave. They punched him, and Dak set up a pile driver, and then Brodito came out and attacked FTR and saved Ricky Steamboat. Any thoughts on this segment, bro?
Ric Flair was there tonight.
Was he? He wasn't on TV then.
The Nature Boy only appeared for the live crowd, and AEW may have changed the Ricky Steamboat FTR segment as a result. AEW promoted appearances by Ric Flair and Ricky Dragon Steamboat for Blood and Guts. It made sense to bring the Linked Legends back in the ring for Flair Country and Greensboro, blah, 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 blah. But while Steamboat worked the segment without his old pal, blah, 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 blah. Wrestling Observer said after the above brief appearance for the live crowd, Carolina, the 36-year-old left because he was in a ton of pain due to a recent rotator cuff tear. Then why'd he show up?
Is that code word for he wanted to go to the bar as quickly as the show was over?
He was hanging out with Tony Khan before.
Sure. I just want to say this before we get to Collision Corner. These FTR segments are fucking nauseating, number one. They are some of the worst produced segments, some of the biggest wastes of time that we see on pro wrestling television. I don't know what this accomplished. This was just as bad as them beating up the cameraman to sell their match with Cope and Christian going into the pay-per-view. So I don't really understand what we accomplished here. They pushed around Steamboat and beat up Steamboat, or at least try to beat up Steamboat, to do what exactly? To have Brodito come out there and attack and save Steamboat? Like, who are you building a match with? Ricky Steamboat or fucking Brodito? I'm confused here. What did this do to add any intrigue and extra interest to the tag team title match at Full Gear, Jesse? Do you want to elaborate?
Bro, I got up and left in the middle of this. I gave up after like 15 minutes. I couldn't take it anymore, man. It just went on and on and on and fucking on. Every time a legend comes, these guys are apparently the new legend killers or some shit like that. I don't get it. Doesn't make sense. I don't like it. He has, like you said, no correlation to it. Bro, I gave up, man. I'm sorry. I couldn't take it.
I think we should rename FTR instead of Forever the Revival. Fuck the ratings. Because that's exactly what happens when FTR is on fucking television. Jesse, we going anywhere?
We are gone. Let me move this over here, and we are going to Collision Corner.
Oh my God! Where is he? Here we go.
Here we go.
Look at him.
We have a very, very special, abbreviated version of Collision Corner, and it is brought to you by, once again, David Rice and Pedro Rivera.
Oh,
thank
man.
you guys so much. We had 2 sponsors, bro. Here we go. This is the special 0 fucks given version of Collision Corner. Here we go. FTR versus Juice and Austin Gunn. Juice pins Dax, and his beard appears to be at 35%. Bro.
How are we going backwards here, bro? What is going on?
Bro, turns out, I'm sad to report, he is trimming that beard.
That's got to be a Tony Storm decision, bro. It can't be a Juice Robinson decision.
I thought that too, but I also thought that maybe he just gives 0 fucks.
Probably. He gives us just as many fucks as Tony Khan does booking Collision.
Yes. Then we get Kyle Fletcher defeating Ace Austin for absolutely no reason. No reason. But maybe.
Austin Powers? Who's that? Ace Austin. Who's that?
Come on, you know who Ace Austin is, bro. Come on. Don't disrespect the guy like that. That's Tony Khan's job to disrespect Ace Austin. Tony Fletcher for absolutely no reason. Maybe the reason is because he just gives 0 fucks, bro. We get TJ, who faced Maya World and Kion.
Mayo World, bro? What is this, a fucking sandwich place?
Yeah, this is the second week they were on, too. Bro, this match wasted 2 minutes of our time. Probably because they just give Zero fucks.
Wait a minute. They actually wait a minute. Tegan Knox and Miranda Alizé complained about getting 3 minutes, and these women went out there and wrestled 2 minutes.
It was 2. Legit 2, I counted. Yes. Absolutely 2.
Oh, my God, man.
I tracked that shit. It was 2 minutes. Clearly, they also gave 0 fucks. Let's see. We got Jamie Hayter.
Yes.
Defeats Sky Blue in a match, but every guy actually won because we gives a lot of fucks about that match. Okay.
Oh,
We get...
I wonder why.
I'm just... Ooh, that was a good one.
Raggy.
That was... Ooh. Tekla,
Jesse.
Tekla defeats Harley Cameron for Tekla to secure her future spot in NXT. Why? Because it seemed like Tekla just gave 0 fucks in this match.
How many more times they got to go against the same women?
But Tekla is straight up gonna be in NXT one day. It's for real. We get main event. Roderick Strong defeats John Moxley to everyone's surprise, and yet no one cared because if you're like me, you probably gave 0 fucks. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for your abbreviated 0 fucks given Collision Corner. My name is Jesse, aka your very own one and only Chi-Town Spark, and I watched Collision twice this week, so you guys don't have to.
That sounds fucking awful. And Sky Blue, she needed the money. Oh!
No, she loves her husband. Oh my God. What?
Let me have my fun on this show, man. There's no other fun on this show, you know?
Bro, I am every time I'm looking at Tekla in that ring, bro, I swear I just see future NXT.
I love Tekla. I think Tekla's great, bro.
She's gone, bro. She's gone.
Does she really not give a fuck on that show? Is she wrestling is she wrestling blank?
Bro, she is leagues above everyone they're putting her in the ring with right now. I mean, she's so good. She needs to be a world champion. She's being booked as a trios and tag team and this and that. She is women's championship material, man.
I agree.
She is so good that they need to give her the mic more because she was actually really good on the mic when they did give her the mic. But look, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and that maybe they're progressing her slowly in layers, but they never do that. So I'm just going to say that they're fucking wasting her first.
Well, we'll see what happens now. I mean, the whole reason why they did the rigmarole of 3 months in a row of straight matches with these same women, the same cast of characters, is for this blood and guts match that we got tonight. I wonder if they're going to do anything different. It would be fucked up if they go right back to doing the same thing they were doing before blood and guts. You know,
that's exactly what's going to happen.
We'll find out on the next Collision Corner.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Which there won't be one. I don't think will there be one on Saturday? I don't know.
I believe that
probably not, being that we're getting the extra hour on Wednesday, right? You might be spared, bro.
That'd be the following week. So if next week is a double.
Oh, yes. Okay.
The following Saturday.
Yes. Because Full Gear is on Saturday, is it?
It's the following. It's the following Saturday. So I don't know why they only just do Collision right before Full Gear, as like, it used to be heat into the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know.
I don't know why they feel like we need to see Collision. Just do the pay-per-view. Fuck Collision. Nobody watches it anyway.
Then I won't have a segment to do. That's why. Man.
That's all right. They watch us anyway. They don't watch us for Collision Corner, man. Collision Corner is like the cherry in your old fashioned. It's not needed, but it's a beautiful accent, you know?
Nobody's watching for Collision Corner. Chat.
They're here for us, man. It doesn't matter what we do.
Chat.
What I'm trying to say.
Nobody's watching for Collision. All right, fine.
Anyway, moving on. Let's get out of here, man. We got one more match to go over here. Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong. So it's Darby and the conglomeration against the Death Riders. John Moxley, Pac, Danny Garcia, Wheeler Useless, and Claudio.
I would not stand for it, bro.
Claudio Castagnoli, bro. Men's Blood and Guts. Darby came out first with a skateboard. Then Wheeler came out. Bell rang at 9:41. So Wheeler, he's yelling at fans at ringside. Darby drop kicked him because he's too stupid to realize that he's in a blood and guts match. They fought at ringside, then back into the ring. So they started on the outside, then they went into the ring. Yuta was in control. Darby landed a coffin drop off the side of the cage. Darby used his skateboard as a weapon, which had thumbtacks on the bottom of it. And Wheeler was in control here after a low blow on Darby. So Orange Cassidy makes his way out. And then Yuta is already bloodied. So like Sky Blue, she was bloodied in 6 minutes. Yuta was also bloodied in 6 minutes. And we got this blood and guts match already with some color. So Cassidy's in there. He broke his sunglasses, and then he started punching Yuta with them. So I guess that was his choice of weaponry here, his broken sunglasses. He followed with a DDT, kip up. Darby then got up and went after Yuta. Cassidy punched Yuta in the midsection with a chain-wrapped fist, and then he stomped the skateboard onto Yuta's back. Out comes next the charisma vacuum himself, Danny Garcia. He wore one of those face masks. What are they? The COVID masks? He wore a COVID mask? Or what are you, a gas mask? What was he wearing?
He had a mask on?
He had a mask on, yeah. He had like one of them N95 masks, I believe.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe we should ask him.
Okay.
Maybe he's sick. Yeah. Maybe he's sick of being a jobber. I don't know.
He's sick. It didn't stay on all night.
No. He walked through the crowd. I guess he didn't want to get any germ. Maybe he's a germaphobe. Who knows? Maybe he's like Howie Mandel.
News to me. Nobody's as bad as Howie Mandel, man.
No, Howie's I love Howie Mandel, but he's fucking OD on that shit. Oh my God.
Jeez. So
Shivani mentioned the mask. He said it wouldn't protect him and wondered what it was about. I don't really know what the fuck the mask was for. He took the mask off as soon as he got to ringside. We go into a commercial break because Garcia and Yuta took control. Mark Briscoe was supposed to come out. His theme music played, but nobody came out. So this was the advantage for the babyfaces. This was actually, I didn't mind this. I thought this was a nice little addition to the match here. He says he couldn't think of a better man to have by your side in a match like this, and then all of a sudden the music stopped. Everybody wondered why Mark Briscoe didn't come out. So they went backstage. Renee, who was there trying to figure things out, rushes into the babyface locker room and saw Mark Briscoe on the floor, writhing in pain, holding his side. So he's there with Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, and Roddy volunteered to go out next, even though he wasn't really scheduled to at this point, and he's going to take Briscoe's spot. So Strong entered to make sure that things were going their way, and then Claudio came out, and then Strong was eventually bloodied by the Death Riders. O'Reilly came out next. We go into a commercial. John Moxley comes out, and then he brings out his choice of weaponry, which is a fork from catering, and he starts stabbing it in Strong's face. He stabbed Darby's back. He then gave it to Garcia, who then scraped Darby's spine and all across his back with the fork. Garcia then threw Darby into the cage, and Darby tumbled headfirst in between the cage and the ring, and he fell. I don't know why the ring is so far away from the cage. The cage is not flush with the ring here, which I thought it was, but apparently it's not, because Darby fell in between the cage and the ring. Yeah. So at this point, Mox left the ring, grabbed a barbed wire baseball bat. Moxley, by the way, came out with some barbed wire wrapped around his neck. That was his choice of weaponry. He had two weapons because he's John Moxley. Yeah. He goes outside, he grabs a bucket and the mirror frame from the women's match earlier. So they cleaned up and put all the debris of glass and the broken mirror frame in a bucket, and he brings the bucket into the ring. So, yeah, he's crazy. So the clock reached 0. Briscoe couldn't come out. Mox scraped O'Reilly's forehead with the mirror frame. Renee said Briscoe was still being tended to, and she said that the Don Callis family were responsible. I want to make a mention of this. They didn't go to immediately cut to the back and take away from the action. They did this little soundbite with Renee cutting the interview or whatever she was saying in the back, and they had this little Renee logo on the bottom of the screen, and you just heard Renee's voice as the match was still in progress. I actually like that.
Very cool.
That? Yeah.
Yep, that was very cool. I like that too.
Yeah. So she said it was the Don Callis family who took out Mark Briscoe, which, again, I like that added to this because Briscoe is kind of putting his dilemma with Kyle Fletcher on hold so that he may compete in this blood and guts match, which, you know, they got him juggling 2 or 3 different things at the same time. I like the fact that the Don Callis family was added to this in story to take out Briscoe to lighten him up for Kyle Fletcher at the pay-per-view and then risk him not being in this match. So I thought that was a nice little progression there for the next match that we get with Briscoe and Fletcher. So at this point, Renee said that it would be a 5-on-4, and Death Riders have the advantage now until the end of the match. So Moxley and Darby are in it here, and there was a stuffed pile driver by Mox on Darby onto the broken glass because he dumped the glass in the bucket into the ring. Mox dragged Darby across the glass. We go into a commercial break about a half an hour in here. Come back from the break. Darby is hanging from the top of the cage and swinging from the beams inside the cage, and he delivered a coffin drop onto the Death Riders. Pac makes his entrance, and he's the last to enter, and now the match is officially beginning. So 33 minutes into this thing, it's now started. O'Reilly is a bloody mess in there. Shivani mentioned O'Reilly being more bloody than he's ever seen Ric Flair. I think that is a huge over-exaggeration. Nobody bled more than Ric Flair.
No.
So,
I thought he had like red streaks in his hair.
Yeah, ridiculous. No. So Excalibur noted that Yuta now has the referee's key to the door, and he stuffed it in his trunks. Briscoe eventually makes his way out to the ring, and he used a bolt cutter to get into the ring. So now this obviously is going to lead everybody to spilling to the outside. So he takes a chair and threw it at Garcia's head. Claudio mistakenly crashed into Pac when Briscoe moved. Cassidy used a wrench as a weapon here against Pac. And then there was a position of power here with the chain. There was a chain involved. Strong battered Moxie with a chain wrap fist, and he started going to work on the Death Riders with the chain. Briscoe put Yuta on a table at ringside, and he looked up towards the top of the cage. Garcia got involved. Briscoe put Garcia on the table and then climbed up to the top of the cage, and everybody thought he was going to deliver his elbow drop off the top of the cage through the table at that height. Thank God he didn't, because he'd be fucking dead if he did. Garcia rolled off the table. O'Reilly then applied a cross arm breaker on Garcia at ringside. Garcia took advantage here, raked his eyes. Yuta meets Briscoe on the roof of the cage. Briscoe knocked Yuta onto his back and then lowered a rope to O'Reilly, who was down below, who hooked steel chairs to the rope. And then Briscoe pulled the chairs up from the top of the cage, and he had all these chairs up top with him and Yuta. So they briefly fought up there in a chair battle. Yuta had a chair as well. He and Briscoe had a battle of the chairs. Briscoe got the better of it, bashed him in the back. Briscoe set up a J Driller. Yuta gave Briscoe a low blow. Yuta hit Briscoe in the head with a chair shot. Yuta and Briscoe are still fighting after the commercial break here on the roof of the cage. Briscoe kicked Yuta low and then gave him a J Driller onto the chair. Meanwhile, Darby and Claudio down below are battling it out with a hammer. As soon as Briscoe climbed down from the cage, Pac went after him at ringside. All of a sudden, Gabe Kidd, who we haven't seen since he was dragged away by Darby after being chloroformed on an episode in Philadelphia of Dynamite, he shows up and he zapped Darby with a stun gun. He dragged Darby to the stage. Garcia put Cassidy in a sleeper and then put his hands in his pockets. So at this point, his hands are in his pockets. Moxley comes over with a staple gun and staples Orange Cassidy's hands to his pockets. And Orange Cassidy, as ridiculous as it even looks and sounds, did not take his hands out of his pockets until he eventually broke free later in the match. That was ridiculous.
They couldn't. They were stapled in the pockets.
No, they weren't. Bro, they'd have to be staples as thick as your fucking baseball cap. Give me a break.
They were stapled. You don't even know. He couldn't get him out. He couldn't.
Sure.
He tried.
Sure, he tried. Yes, he tried. It looked ridiculous. So he got his hands stapled in his pockets. Moxley stapled Cassidy here. Meanwhile, on the stage, Pac climbed up to the top of the entrance tunnel. Gabe shoved Darby up there. Pac and Darby fought up there. Pac eyed 2 tables that were set down below. Gabe comes over with lighter fluid and spreads lighter fluid all over these tables. He eventually sets the tables on fire, and Darby is in a gorilla press with Pac holding him above his head. and he tosses Darby off the tunnel through the tables, and Darby is legitimately skin first, set on fire. He rolls away conveniently to a group of medical guys who are laying there with a towel and something on it so they can extinguish the flames that are burning up Darby's back. This was ridiculous. It looked great in execution, but my God, man. The guy is fucking crazy, man. He said he'd die for this company, so there you go. That's one step towards the grave right there, being set on fire.
Well, everybody wondered what was Darby going to do tonight to, kill himself, and there you go. Y'all found it.
So he was lit on fire. They quickly extinguished the flames. Moxley put a chain across O'Reilly's mouth and then applied a bulldog choke. O'Reilly gave Mox a middle finger gesture. Claudio put O'Reilly's head in a chair. Cassidy kicked up, yanked his hands out of his pockets because they were stapled. He landed an orange punch. Briscoe suplexed Pac off the ringside steps through a table. In the ring, Strong suplexed Garcia into a table in the corner. Strong did the same to Yuta. On the second try, the table finally broke. On the first try, it did not. Cassidy charged at Mox, but Claudio intercepted him. Cassidy countered with an orange punch, and then he gave one to Mox. And the last little seconds here with O'Reilly and Mox were actually really good. O'Reilly put Mox in a standing ankle lock. Moxley countered that into a bulldog choke. O'Reilly then shifted back into a knee bar and then an ankle lock, and Moxley tapped out. So Moxley tapped out at 54 minutes, giving Darby and the conglomeration the win here, Jesse. So the story here is Moxley losing it again for the Death Riders. And I know a lot of people are hoping on a wing and a prayer here that Moxley eventually is confronted by the Death Riders because he lost another big match. Yeah. Could we really be looking at the end of the Death Riders here? Because eventually, Moxley's making the Death Riders look bad. Are they going to actually speak up for themselves and confront Moxley about this? I'm interested to see where they go with that.
I'm interested to see too, but something I did notice Daniel Garcia kind of just staring at Moxley like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
It was kind of on a sliding shot, but he was kind of looking at him like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is, they need to play into this. This is the perfect avenue to write Moxley out of the Death Riders and off of TV for a while, please.
Mm-hmm.
It would make sense, hey, bro, I mean, this is the second fucking big match that you've cost us now. I mean, you keep fucking tapping out. You talk all this shit, and then you fucking tap out when the matches come. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So, yeah, that was Blood and Guts. We got the heels on the women's side winning, and then the baby faces here in the men winning their version of Blood and Guts. All in all, it was a very, it was like a Dynamite on steroids, for sure. It was a pay-per-view on Dynamite, better than your regular every week episode of Dynamite. We'll go back to regularly scheduled programming next week, but this was good for what it was. Obviously, the criticisms are there. Hopefully, we presented it in a way where it comes off as critical but fair, which I do believe we accomplished tonight. And we'll see what happens going into the rest of the pay-per-view. AEW Collision, they got Briscoe versus Mark Davis announced for this Saturday's Collision. And then Dynamite next week, Hangman versus Shibata, and Kenny Omega returns. That's all they got announced right now for the shows coming up. So that is your 2025 edition of Blood and Guts. There you go.
Yeah, it was a fun show for a TV, for Dynamite. It was fun.
Yeah,
it was not your typical, here are a bunch of matches that had no story going in. On this show we only had 3 matches with no story going in. So I mean, it was kind of condensed, and it was a lot of action. There was a lot of, if you sat down and just turned the TV on and saw all this happening, it would probably compel you to keep watching for a while. So I think it probably served its purpose.
We will definitely see where they go into Full Gear and into next week's show. So hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's stream. If you did, please sound off in the comment section down below. Hit that thumbs up and get those super chats. And we're going to hang out right now with you until we call it a night. Follow us on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Cameo. Same for Jesse at ChyTownSmark. Hit that subscribe button down below on this channel. Go hit that subscribe button to Jesse's channel, also linked down below. And go and check out all the great content on this channel. There will be more hopefully tomorrow. If there's any news, I will definitely upload for you guys. And then more than likely, I will be uploading Friday before I head to go see Miles Kennedy in concert on Friday. No Friday night SmackDown stream. I don't know, Jesse. Do you live react during SmackDown?
I do not. I don't watch SmackDown at all. I have not watched SmackDown in a very long time.
Keep it that way. It's you ain't missing anything over there.
So,
that's what's coming up there. Let's get into these super chats and then call it a night. We're gonna start with Michael Krause, $2 super chat. JD, Jesse, how is everyone? Let's go OTS. Yeah, thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Richard Cohn with a 2 and a 2. Hi, JD. What the fuck Tony Khan is doing with the ladies? And JD, that is crap. You do not do that to the ladies. It looked like some of the ladies, Richard, quite enjoyed themselves.
Wanted to do it on their own.
Yes. Mel with a 55 months. Hey, boys. First and foremost, hey, Jesse, why did you block me on X? And this should have been a pay-per-view with the commercials. They are killing me. You blocked Mel's match chat on Twitter?
Probably did.
Any particular reason?
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason that you don't want to divulge here tonight?
Yes.
Okay, I will just leave it as. You can tell me off the air.
All right.
I don't know what to tell you, Mel. I don't know. I didn't block you. Why would I? You're 55 months here. Why would I block? Not Jesse's channel.
If I had a fucking dollar for everybody that came to me crying that you blocked them, I'd be rich. Bro.
I know.
Rich.
Richard, thank you, brother. Mel, thank you. Furious Nation with 499. What's up, JD and Jesse? I am really sorry to say this, but my grandma fell today and fractured her right hip, and I am really, really worried about her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Not to make your situation worse, but that happened to my grandma, and we all worried the same. So hopefully yours can come out of that terrible situation and hopefully find herself on the road to recovery, bro. I wish you well there. Yeah. Hardy Punk with a 2. Women's Blood and Guts showed creative life signs, leads nowhere. Yeah, there really isn't a lot of creative outside of the match that we're probably going to get in the semifinals with Tony, Mina, Megan Bayne, and Marina Shafir. That's about it. Mercedes and Stat doesn't have really any story, you know? So there wasn't a lot to come out of that. They've even been so lazy to finish up and wrap up and come to a conclusion with Willow and Stat. Like, when are they going to do that? It's been going on for years now with no end in sight. So, Adam JD 519 with 20 months. What's up, JD? Finally back live in the venue after a rough work week. Good to see you. And Jesse, keep up the great work, guys. OTS for life. Thank you, brother. Nate. $5 super chat. Pac looks like Austin Aries and on the juice, but this shit show people are bleeding with not knowing how, mostly in the women. They cut back and like how. Yeah, there was a lot of I don't even remember how Statlander got busted open, to be quite honest with you.
Nah, me either. I missed it.
Hardy Punk with a 2. Men's Blood and Guts equals women's War Games. Random jobbers, no heat. Twister with a $4.99. Worst Blood and Guts show ever, easily. You know, I can't even compare because honestly, I don't remember them all. I have to go back and refresh my memory to give you a really solid take on that. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was the worst. I mean, is it the? I would say this. Is it the Blood and Guts that I was least interested in? Yes. I don't know if it was the worst. Hardy Punk, Ambrose returned to the Fed, confirmed. No, I think Moxley retires in AEW. Twister with a 999, probably the worst Blood and Guts ever. Nothing was interesting. Both matches were shit because there was no story. Crowd was dead. Just an awful show. 3 out of 10. The crowd was not dead. I thought they were alive all night.
Thank you. I'm like, what the? I swear people just put this shit in there just to copy and paste every week. This show sucks. Crowd was dead. Week 2. This show sucks. Crowd was dead. Did you even watch?
The crowd was alive.
Very much so.
Yes. Thank you, Twister. Richard Cohen with the 5. JD, is Tony Khan trying to hurt his wrestlers? I know it's not real. That too much the girls match made me mad. Sorry, you and Jesse are the best. Yeah. Is Tony Khan trying to hurt his wrestlers? No, he's not trying to hurt his wrestlers, but I do wish that there was a little bit more control over what they do and what they don't do. Because half the spots aren't really needed. Michelle with a 5. Should have been Darby, not Kyle, to make Mox tap. But still a good thing the faces went over. But note to TK, end this Death Rider shit now. Yes. Hopefully we are nearing the end. Party Punk with a 2. Where the fuck is MJF? TKO bastards, you gotta spend money. MJF will be back at Full Gear because it is in New Jersey. And that is really a hop, skip, and a jump away from Plainview, Long Island. Hardy Punk with a 2. When will JD perform Red Skies himself? I don't know. You gotta keep watching to find out. Based with a $9.99. Travesty of a men's cage match. I'm sure Uncle Dave loved all the hardcore deathmatch spots. Fuck this clown company. I did not care for the men's. Everything we said in the beginning of this show applies to the men and the women, but the women's match was far superior to me than the men's. Twister also with a $9.99. It's official. 2025 is the worst year for AEW. That I agree with. This is their worst year creatively ever.
Yeah.
Brandon with a 5. Women's match didn't need Chris and Mercedes. Decent match to me. Basically everything else, including men's blood and guts, disappointed. I agree. Steph Curry fan with a 5. The women's blood and guts match was good outside the flaming table in the match with the men's. That was dog shit. Yeah, it's just the perception that the Death Riders give off. It's just, it's seen its day. It's got to end. Eric Newton, 39 months. Thank you, brother. Yurko with a 10. Thank you. No message. Kenny Clifford with a 10. Hey, JD, remember November 1, 2019 when they started building Survivor Series between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT? That was good storytelling and long-term booking. Yeah, and then what happened? They fucked it up. I remember that. What was that? Keith Lee and Roman Reigns? Yeah, what'd they do there? They followed up with nothing. Josh from Connecticut, $4.99. Although I enjoyed quite a bit of tonight's Blood and Guts, some of it was smelly like Matt Coon's armpits. Well, I mean, Matt Coon is grossly overweight, so I'm not really surprised he smells like shit. Don't worry about it. FTR's buddy. Crazy Men 88 with a $5 super chat. We just played this song. No, that is not going to happen. No. Dalton with a 5. I think the leave the cage and your team surrender rule is when all the competitors have entered war games and the match has begun. Could be wrong though.
Oh, so it once the match has officially begun and all of the whole team leaves, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, the bell rang and everybody was in there, but Mark Briscoe and Yuta was still on top of the cage, so they were outside the ring.
Well, I think he means the whole team.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
Jericho, 8131 with the $10 super chat. Mercedes getting treated like someone with a 99 overall in a WWE game was ridiculous. Her reverse of 98% of the face's offense and single-handedly throwing them out of the cage at the end was a joke. Yeah, that was a little ridiculous. Caden with a 199. Can HBK revitalize Deonna Purrazzo's career? Anything outside of AEW will be a net positive for one Deonna Purrazzo. She needs to get the fuck out of the company.
Why is, along with Deonna Purrazzo, why is Alex Windsor on ROH?
I don't know, bro. Because Will Ospreay's not on TV, so they have no use for her.
No, look, I'm being serious. Like, why?
Because she was the flavor of the month, bro. What do you want me to tell you?
She did very well. I mean, so why would they just yank her off TV and put her on ROH for no reason?
I don't know.
That's very odd.
It is odd.
It's odd that Deonna Purrazzo was there. Two wasted talents right there in ROH.
And then Real Zero Kaiba with a 42 months. Hey, JD, I haven't been in the live chat much because I'm going through some stuff, but I always listen to the podcast after. Never quit what you do. Fuck the haters. Well, thank you, Kaiba. I appreciate you, man. Sidro says FTR should be known as Find the Remote moving forward. I actually may make that into a shirt. Find the Remote. Or Fuck the Ratings, or one or the other. I don't know. He made a shirt about me, so it's only fair, right? Anyway,
I would ignore him. But that's me. He's making shirts about you because he's fucking obsessed. You make a shirt about him.
Yeah.
You just as bad as him.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
Ignore him.
Anyway, guys, thank you for a great stream tonight. We are going to get out of here, and we'll see you next week. We got a 3-hour block of Dynamite next week. Great. Can't wait. Follow us on social media, at JDfromNY206, at Shottown Smark. Also, YouTube, you know where to find me. Hit that subscribe button down below. Follow Jesse on YouTube. Link is down in the description. So please go and find him. And then I will see you back with more news right here on the channel. And I will not be live Friday because I will be at the Miles Kennedy concert in New Jersey at the Wellmont Theater. If anybody will be heading over that way, hopefully I see you over there. And then I'll be at Big Event New York City on Long Island on Saturday. So if you guys are going to be there, I will also be there in attendance. Thank you guys very much for all your support. Thank you for a great stream. #1 by a country mile tonight, as usual. And we'll see you back next week right here for more AEW Dynamite on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.